Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hold On to Dawn podcast. I'm your host, Erin, and today I have a special guest. It's Laura Banks.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited.
Me too. The focus of our podcast is mental health, and this is actually the first time I've connected with someone talking about how physical health can affect mental health. How, I guess let's start with how can girls or men, how can anyone start their journey and how can they try to change the way they talk to themselves? Because I feel like that's like the first step in trying to lose weight or get healthier.
Yeah, so you're asking where to start.
Yeah.
I think that it's important whenever we are getting started on a health journey that we don't just approach it from one angle, right? Like our health is about our physical health, yes, but it's about so much more than that too. It's about our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. Those things are equally as important, if not more important than our overall physical health, right? Like, yeah, it's important that you're not super overweight or that you don't have high cholesterol or you don't have all of these health things going on. But if we are speaking to ourselves in a negative way, if we are, beating ourselves up over everything that we're eating, if food is taking up so much space in our brain constantly, if we're just unhappy in our careers, in our social life, in our relationships, then those things, they have to be a priority for us too. And there's an activity that I like to do with a lot of my clients whenever I'm getting started with them. It's called the circle of life. And it's these 12 areas on a circle. It's like a pie chart with 12 different sections. Um, and what they'll do is they'll rate each of these, like from low to high. Like, how satisfied are you with this area of your life? And like I said, it's your career, your relationships, your finances, your spirituality, all of these different areas of your health. Big, and there's only one of those sections that is devoted to your physical health.
Oh,
Everything
wow.
else, so 11 of the 12 sections of your health are not about the food that you eat and the exercise that you do and the amount of water that you drink. So it's really, really important that we focus on all of these other areas of our life because they take up more of our health than we realize.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are doing the the shift,
Seismic shift.
seismic shift. Yeah. If people are listening to this and they still want to join, are they still able to? Or no, you start a new one
I
after
can
that.
send you the link for them to put their name on the wait list for the next round. The next round opens
Okay.
up in April. So I run it 4 times a year. So if they want to join, there's plenty of time for them to get into the next round.
Okay. So yeah, that might be something that listeners are interested in. So the next one will start in April. So what does your program entail?
So it's an 8-week program, and I talk about how to heal your relationship with food. I talk about how to get rid of your all or nothing mindset. And I really like to think of health almost like a pyramid. And I've been giving this analogy to a lot of people recently. I like to think of it as like a pyramid where your goal is at the top, like this is what you're working towards. In the middle is all of the education. You need to understand, what should you be eating, how often should you be eating, what types of food should you be eating at what times of day. Like, you need to understand the what it takes to live a healthy lifestyle in terms of physical health. um and then at the bottom of that is your mindset. Is that's the foundation. If you don't have like a really solid foundation for what it is that you're learning, then all of that education really means nothing. Like, I can tell you how carbs impact your body all day long. I can tell you, when to eat and what to eat, how much water to drink, what types of exercise to do. I can tell you what to do all day long, and I can give you the why behind it. I used to be a third grade teacher, and so I'm really big on helping people understand the why. Elementary education is really all about teaching kids why does 2 times 4 equal 8, like why, right? That's what we
Yeah.
want them to understand, because when you understand the why, you can apply it to other situations. So I want you to understand in terms of health, why do should you eat carbs at this time of day, or why should you eat this type of carbs and not this type of carbs, like why. And then you can apply it to all these other situations. So I teach you that, but then I really help you shift your mindset because the mindset piece is ultimately the most important. I can teach you that stuff all day long, but if you don't have the proper mindset, then you're not actually going to stick with it long term. And I'm like over the fad diets and jumping from diet to diet and trying this thing and that thing and nothing ever working, right? I want you to have a solid mindset and a solid foundation for what you're learning so that you can, yeah, like I said, stick to it long term because that's what we're all after is sustainable long term health.
Yes. When I would start, when I was when I would go in like ebbs and flows of losing weight and gaining weight, it was always consistently up and down because I never found a rhythm that I liked. And I would go on diets and like cut things out completely. And then I'd be like, I can't, or I would be going towards a goal, say it was like to fit into a dress or to look good for a wedding or something. And then once that was over, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna binge now. And then I would totally lose all my motivation. I would stop working out. And so I know that what you're saying is to change your mindset so that you can kind of stay on the right path and not stray. I know that a lot of your focus on food is to not restrict yourself 100% and to not get rid of things entirely. So, what advice would you give to someone that is struggling with what to eat?
Yeah, and Erin, I like that you brought up all of that because that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say healing your relationship with food. People always are like, well, I don't really know what that means. Like, do I even have a broken relationship with food? Like, what exactly do you mean when you say you help people heal their relationship with food? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the beating yourself up over every bite that you take. I walked into a meeting recently and there was like a bunch of bagels, and I heard somebody say, well, there goes my New Year's resolution. And so it's those types of comments and
Yeah.
that way of looking at food that I'm trying to help you heal because it's just not sustainable. It's not realistic to cut foods out of our life. That's why you go on that binge after fitting into the dress or after reaching your goal. And that's why everybody always says, well, I reach my weight loss goal and then I self-sabotage and I gain the weight back. And the reason for that is because you went on this super restrictive diet that didn't allow you to eat foods that you enjoy. You were beating yourself up anytime that you went off of it. And so you just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to eat whatever I want now. And you just go on this huge binge, right?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why that happens. And that's what I'm helping women overcome. And so to answer your question, wait, what was your question?
I think my question was
Oh, advice.
how does someone start the process of changing their diet and like what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, so to answer that question, I think it would come down to you have to change your language and the way that you speak about food. It starts so much of the way that we talk about ourselves, the way we talk about other people, the way we talk about food. That language is what dictates so much of our life. Our language literally creates our reality. So if I sit here and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, today's going to be the worst day ever, you don't, like you're sitting here saying all these bad things about what today's going to hold. It's
Yeah.
going to be the worst day ever because you're going to go into it with that attitude. But if you wake up and you're like, you know what, I'm going to find the good in today. I'm going to make today a good day. I'm going to find the good things about life. Then you're going to find all these good things. And they probably would have been there either way, but it's about how you're viewing them and how you're looking at them. Food is the same either way, right? A bagel is a bagel. It's about how you look at it. It's about how you speak to it. It's about understanding, yes, understanding the impact that it's going to leave on your body, but also changing the way that we speak about it. So instead of saying, bagels are so bad for me, I'm bad if I eat a bagel, because that's the problem a lot of time with our language is if we give food a moral value, then it creates a moral value within us. I'm bad because I ate a bagel. No, like there are bad people in this world, don't get me wrong, but they're not bad because they ate a bagel, right? They're
Hmm.
bad because they probably did something horrible. So that's what's really important. First step is changing your language about food, about yourself because of the foods that you eat. That would be the first thing that I would have somebody do. And I feel like as a coach, my ears are always tuned to it. Somebody starts working with me and they walk in and they say, well, Laura, I had a really bad day today. Why was your day bad? And then I'll ask them and they're like, well, I ate this and that. Okay, well, what you ate doesn't dictate the type of day that you had,
Mm,
right? So we have to change the way that we're speaking about food. So that would be the first thing that I would have somebody do.
yeah, that makes sense. And when people want to add in fitness, and let's say that they haven't worked out in a while, how would you recommend they get started into that so that they can start something new, but stay on it and not feel like they want to give up or quit, like something that can ease them into it?
I think this is a big problem, and that's another mindset shift that I help my clients with is the all or nothing mindset. I either have to be perfect, I have to show up every day, I have to do it well, I have to be there long enough, I have to get my heart rate to this amount. It has to be perfect. Or if I miss a Tuesday, what's the point in even going for the rest of the week? I help
Hmm.
my clients heal that all or nothing thinking that so many of us have, and it's been programmed into us from an early age from other places. I know for me, my all or nothing mindset with food came from me having an all or nothing mindset with my grades as a child. I always thought I have to make A's or there's no point in me trying at all. If I make a B, why did I even show up and do this, right? It has to be an A, it has to be perfect. And so I've come to learn over time that I had an all or nothing mindset in my relationship with school, which led to my all or nothing mindset in my relationship with food. And I learned recently, I kind of just had like an epiphany one day talking on my own podcast, an all or nothing mindset with my relationship with God. Because I was like, if I'm still going to have a couple drinks with my friends or say a couple cuss words here and there, what was the point in me even like saying a prayer? Like, God doesn't want me if I can't be perfect, right? And
Hmm.
so I had to learn to heal that relationship, that all or nothing mindset in a lot of areas of my life. So if somebody was wanting to bring fitness into their life and they want to start being more consistent with exercise, I think it's really important that one, they identify what consistent means to them. Consistency doesn't have to mean 5 days a week, 7 days a week. It could be 2 days a week. It could be 3 days a week. Consistency is about doing it at the same amount of times week after week after week. So three days this week, what can you do to bring a little extra movement into your life? And I also really think it's important that we make it enjoyable. Like exercise is not something that we're just gonna do for the heck of it. Like we're not just gonna, I'm not gonna go out and run because I hate going out and running. I ran cross country in high school for some reason. No clue why. I absolutely hated it and I was horrible at it. Um, but it has to be enjoyable. So ask yourself, like, what type of movement do I enjoy? It doesn't have to be like cookie cutter, like lifting weights at the gym or, going to the Pilates class that's so it right now. It could be anything that you enjoy. I love going for a walk. That's my time to listen to a podcast or listen to music that I enjoy. Like, that's my time to just kind of disconnect when I go for a walk. I'm not like super getting my heart rate up or anything like that. I'm just moving for 15 minutes and it's easy and it fits into my life. So find ways to make it fit what you have going on currently and make it enjoyable for yourself. Those are the two most important things so that you actually can stick to it and want to stick to it. Over time, when we start exercising consistently, we come to learn like, wow, I feel so much better when I'm doing this. I feel better when I'm eating foods that are good for me, that have a lot of nutrients in them, that are colorful. I feel good whenever I'm waking up and finding the good in the day and being grateful, finding little moments to practice gratitude throughout the day. Like I feel better when I do these things, and that makes it so much easier to be consistent with it.
Yes. And you mentioned listening to your favorite music when you go for a walk. So, what is your favorite type of music to listen to? And who's your favorite artist? And what is your current favorite song?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm a country girl through and through. Grew up listening to good old country music. I'm from South Carolina. So I bet you there's somebody listening. They're like, that makes sense. That's what I get every time I say I'm from South Carolina. They're like, ah, makes sense. That little accent. So I'm from South Carolina. I love my country music. Right now, I told you whenever we connected before this that I get hyperfixation songs. And so I'll just like listen to a song on repeat a million times. Right now, my hyperfixation song is Beautiful as You by Thomas Rhett. I'm just enjoying that song, I think, because I love singing. It's just like I'm it's not like I'm like American Idol good or something, but I'm like pretty decent at singing, I think. And so I just love to like belt out a good song. Like I just love a song I can sing along with that makes it fun and I can kind of just like groove to. And so that's a song that I've just been enjoying singing. I feel like at the end of a long day, if I've had a day where I'm just like not feeling it, like I'm just like today was not the day. I just didn't feel good today. I'll just turn on some music that makes me feel good. I literally tell my Alexa to turn on music. I literally say, turn on feel good country music. And she'll turn on a station, whatever it is. And it's always songs that I just sing and dance to as I'm cooking dinner or, just cleaning up around the house, folding laundry. And that's just a way for me to just like kind of escape all of that talk going on in my brain and just be with myself and get lost in a song.
Good. Yeah, it is. Music can really, truly change your mood like 100%. It is so amazing that it can just completely take you somewhere else. Like you can start off sad, upset, and listen to a song, and your heart feels different at the end of it.
I totally agree with you. I feel like I've found that through so many stages of life, like music has always been the thing that I've come back to. I remember that whenever I was in high school, I was like super into like going to church and things whenever I was in high school. And then I really got away from it in college and in my early 20s. And now I'm just like kind of starting to get my feet wet and get back into that phase, that area of my life. But I used to always like quote songs. Like I would send them to my friends as like advice, like just quoting songs. And they would be like, "Is that song a song lyric?" And I'm like, "Maybe," but it was a really good response to what you have going on right now, you know? Like I just feel like music really can. It can shift our perspective, get us thinking about things in a new way, and just makes us feel really good to just get lost in a beat.
Hmm. Aside from music, is there anything else that you turn to when you're going through a difficult time to help you get through it?
I think that for me, it's really important that I'm able to, if I'm like going through something where my mind just like is chattering, that feeling of like you just cannot stop the negative thoughts from coming. You can't stop all the things going on inside your head. I find it so important to just disconnect. Like whatever it is that I'm stressed about, close my laptop or put down my phone. I I know that it's so easy, like to just curl up on the couch, scroll on our phone, but that doesn't ever make us feel better, right? Like that
Right.
doesn't ever make us like feel like, oh, I feel so great now that I scrolled for 2 hours, you know? So something that I love to do and I always have loved to do is go for walks, just like get outside, get into the sunshine and just kind of just go until I just don't feel like going anymore. If I have that flexibility, that's something that feels really good for me. I also have gotten recently into puzzling and I will turn on a nice song or some kind of playlist, let it play and I will puzzle. I also want to get into flipping furniture. It's something that like my parents do, but I want to get into it. I got something for Christmas to kind of get started on it, like a sander for Christmas. And so I want to get started on that, but not there yet. I think for me, it's just like disconnecting, getting lost in a fictional story or finding a friend, calling up a friend and just like talking to them about something that's not what's on my mind. Like I just like to like disconnect from what's going on and then I'll revisit it at a time whenever all that chatter in my head isn't so loud and I can actually like process what it is that I'm going through.
That's really good. Yeah. Having our phones, I feel like everybody is so connected to their phone now, this year that we're in, this time frame, and everything is so accessible on your phone, so you're just constantly on it all the time. And I did a December challenge a couple years ago, and one of the challenges for the day was to not be on your phone at all. And when it was over, I was like, I feel like so different. I feel like cleansed. I just feel like more like myself. It was crazy how I felt at the end of the day. And when I finally went on social media, Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears had a new song, but that was like the only thing that had happened that day. So I was like, I didn't even miss anything that monumental.
I love that. You were going to find out about that either way. You didn't need to be on social media that day.
Right. Somebody would have told me about it anyway, and it would be there no matter what. So yeah, there was nothing like crucial I missed. And even like texting, I did not I think I had my phone on in case someone called, but I don't think I even texted that day. So it was just like nice to be disconnected and it really like helped my mind and like it cleanse is like the word that comes to mind. It just like cleansed my brain.
Yeah. And there's like a study recently that came out that shows that if your phone is like within view when you're having a conversation with somebody, so like you're sitting at dinner with a friend or with your partner or something like that, if your phone is in view, even if it's flipped upside down, even if it never lights up, you are there's like an automatic disconnect between the two people. Versus if you like put your phone away, it's in your purse, it's in your pocket, it's like not visible, then you are like so much more connected to that person. It's like constantly there, even if we're
Yeah.
not aware, like if it doesn't have our full focus, there's like a little piece of us is subconsciously aware of that being right there and like, well, I could just like go click on it, right? And scrolling is so addictive. There's like
Yeah.
a book and it's called Dopamine Nation. And in the book, he talks about how our phones and social media is like dopamine. It's like our bodies have become addicted to it
Yeah.
of and I'm sure you know the feeling. You know, like you sit down with your phone or you sit down and you're like, "Where's my phone?" And you just like are doing something. I know I'll be working sometimes scrolling on my phone and also doing something else. I'm like, I'm not paying attention to either of these things
Yep.
fully and I really need to like put that phone away, but it's so addicting sometimes.
It is. Truly. Sometimes I'll be watching TV and then I'll be like, "Oh my God, why am I scrolling on my phone? You're literally watching TV." It just
Yeah.
like happens.
Yes,
Yeah, we need more separation from technology for sure.
we do. I think it would make a lot of us a lot happier if we social media I think was designed to connect us to people, but I think over time it has disconnected us more than it has connected us. Like, don't get me wrong, it's what's brought you and I together. It's what's bringing so many people together right now listening to this podcast. But the problem with it is that we are so connected to the people online that we forget to connect with the people that are right there in the same room as us so much more often. So I think it's important that we are aware of that, not necessarily get rid of our phones or social media or that connection at all, just be aware of it.
Yep. Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about, or I don't know if you know the dates yet of the April group coaching program. So
Yep.
April, you're starting a new group.
April, they'll be able to join. It doesn't start
Oh, okay.
officially until May, but they'll be able to join in April.
Okay. And
So they would be able to join starting on April 29th is when people could join the next round.
okay, and then when does it start? Do you know what day it starts?
Yes, it would officially start on May 20th.
May 20th. Okay. And May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month, so that's a good month to
Perfect.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you touched a little bit on what people can expect, how it's about changing your mindset and healing your relationship with food and a little bit of fitness. Is there anything else you want to talk about what the May group coaching program will be like?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I like to say that this program offers what I call the transformation trifecta. So that would be your education, like I was talking about earlier, teaching you what to do, why you should be doing it. So we talk about all these different areas of your physical health. We're talking about nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management, water intake. We're talking about all these different areas of your physical health. And then the second piece of the trifecta is your mindset. So we're talking about healing your relationship with food, getting rid of your all or nothing thinking, and really talking about how to build habits that you can actually stick to so that it's sustainable, so that you don't have to keep trying diet after diet after diet after diet. And then the third piece of the trifecta is community. I think it can get really, really lonely sometimes. Life can be lonely sometimes, but I think it can be very lonely to go through a health journey because it's almost like nobody is looking at things the way that I am, especially if you're looking at them the way that I do, which is from a mindset of sustainability rather than a quick fix. I'm teaching you how to make long-term lifestyle changes, not just lose 10 pounds in a week, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so it can feel like there's nobody else that's looking at life the way that I am or food the way that I am, and it can feel really lonely. And that's why I wanted to create a group program because I want there to be that connection with other people who are going through the same things that you are, who are learning about the same things that you are, who are feeling the same way that you are, because that's whenever we really can make changes and stick to them. It's really hard in the beginning, right? When you're trying to start something new, whenever you're trying to start eating healthier, but the person that you're living with is not on board, or you're not feeling like super excited about it every single day when you wake up. Maybe you're feeling like, well, gosh, I've been doing this for 3 weeks and I'm not really noticing any changes yet. That's when you turn to the group. That's when having a group of people who are going through the same things you are really makes it so much easier to stick to it. So that's kind of the framework of what to expect from my group coaching program, Seismic Shift.
Awesome. I think that's about everything I wanted to touch on. Is there anything that I didn't mention that you would like to talk about?
Um, No, I don't think so. I think that what we talked about in the beginning with how health is, it's not just about the number on the scale. It's not just about the foods that you're eating, the amount of water you're drinking, but it's about so much more than that. I think that's really, truly what's ultimately so important to
Yeah.
understand, because I think that is whenever we get to true peace and like true happiness, right? Whenever, if we're just focused on what's the number on the scale say, like I was telling you before, it's like we focus on that number, we're wanting that number to look a certain way. And I told myself for so long when I was starting my weight loss journey, man, if I could just see this number on the scale, I'm gonna look so beautiful. Like I'm gonna be so happy. Everything's gonna be perfect. And then I saw that number on the scale and nothing really changed. I still looked in the mirror and I told myself, why do you still look that way? Like you
Oh,
look the same
wow.
as what you did 30 pounds ago. Like how is that possible?" And it was because our relationship, when we have a negative relationship with food, when we're talking about food in such a negative way, you know, when we're talking about, well, I'm bad because I ate this, or I can't eat that, that'll make me fat, or and then you go and eat it, right? Like if you're talking about food in that negative way, it translates to how you think about yourself, and it creates a negative relationship with your self-image, with the person that you see in the mirror. And that's the most important relationship that we have, is the relationship that we have with ourselves. We're with each other 24/7 until the day we die. Like just me and me. It's just me and me right here. You know what I mean?
True.
And so we've got to treat ourselves like a queen or a king or whatever it is that you want to treat yourself like. Like we have to treat ourselves so like we're the most special person ever. And when we talk to ourselves that way, when we're trying to lose weight or when we're trying to get healthier, when we're trying to reach a goal, that language doesn't just change because suddenly a number on the scale appears. We have to practice talking to ourselves that way along the way so that it doesn't matter what that number on the scale says. I love me because I'm me, not because I say a certain number on the scale, not because my genes have a certain number in them. I love me, because I'm really special, because I'm really talented, because I'm this and that, right? So I think that if you are starting a journey, a weight loss journey, or whatever it might be for you, it's important that you talk to yourself the way that you want to talk to yourself eventually. How do you want to speak to yourself? What do you expect you'll feel like when you get to this number, and start talking to yourself and feeling those feelings right now? And you're first of all going to get to that number a lot faster, but you're going to be so much happier on the journey to get there, and once you reach it.
Yes, because the journey is such a big part of it. Like it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey to get there because that's just as important.
It is, because then we get to our destination, and for me, I was like, okay, now what?
Yep.
Like I reached this number on the scale and I still don't like how I look, and I still don't feel confident in my body, and now what? You know what I mean? Like what am I supposed to do now? And so what I come to learn is it's, and that's why I call it a health journey. This is my health journey. I'm on this from the day I started until the day I die now. Like it's not going away, you know? Like this is me constantly learning new things about myself, constantly learning how to take care of myself in new ways. It's not just a 3 month thing. This is who I am. And that's what I'm trying to get more and more people to understand and to start doing is to look at it as, well, this is my lifestyle now. I'm just somebody who gets up in the morning and chooses to look for the positive things out of life. I'm just somebody now who wakes up in the morning and does my exercise for the day or chooses to drink water or packs my lunch so that I can have something healthy to eat at lunch. Like this isn't a diet. This isn't a fad. This isn't a phase. This is who I am because this makes me feel really good about who I am.
Hmm. Yes, that's really well said.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
yay. I'm really excited that I got to be a part of this. Truly, I love your mission. I love the work that you're doing. Like the purpose behind this podcast, I feel so special that I got to be a part of it. So thank you
Oh,
for having me and letting me be a part of this.
thank you so much for being a part of it. I was really excited when you emailed back. You were like, "Yes," like so excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is an awesome episode. I'm really
Good.
excited about it.
Perfect.
If you want to share where people can follow you on social media too.
Yeah, I'm at Laura B Healthy on all platforms. So there's a period around the B and it's just the letter B. My last name is Banks, so it's laura.b.healthy on Instagram and on TikTok.
Okay, you still have a TikTok. I unfortunately deleted it when I thought it was gone,
Oh,
and now I
yes, I
can't.
do still have a TikTok and I'm trying to get more engagement back over there. I feel like somehow my engagement fell off completely on TikTok. So
Yeah, well,
trying to get more engagement back.
I think a lot of it is a lot of people deleted it. So I think there's a lot of people without it right now. So that's why the views are so low.
I know. It's so weird. I mean, it's the whole situation was just a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was. It happened so quickly.
It did. It did. That was the night you emailed me, was the night the
Oh,
TikTok event.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. I really did enjoy being a part of this.
Thank you so much. Me too. This was great.
All right.
Yay.
Bye, Erin.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Our website is holdontildawn.com and our email is holdontilldawn@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at holdontildawn and on Facebook at Hold On Till Dawn Benefit Concert. See you next time.